Fantastic. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today for the Office of Nightlife Multi-Agency Hospitality and Nightlife Worker Call. We are gathered by a lot of city agencies and offices, as you can see. We're going to wait just a few moments to allow time for people to log in and join us. And so we'll just be waiting here for a couple of minutes in awkward silence to let everyone join the room, and then we will begin. Thank you again for coming today. Everyone who is in the chat room right now, you are welcome to also start putting any questions that you might have into the chat room. We will be doing our best to answer questions in real time as we go, and also after the presentation. So you don't necessarily have to wait for the end of presentations to get some of your questions answered. The numbers are climbing, which is great. A lot of people signed up for this today, so we're looking forward to bringing as much information as we can. Again, feel free to start dropping questions into the Q&A. Give it one more minute. All right, I'm going to begin. We have over 100 people already. So I just want to, first of all, introduce myself. My name is Ariel Palitz. I am the Senior Executive Director of the Office of Nightlife at the Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for being here today during this most difficult time in our city and in our lives. I know everyone is hurting and heartbroken over what the hospitality and nightlife industry is going through right now, and everyone is really struggling. Everyone on this call today has been fighting an incredible fight to keep businesses open, to keep your jobs, and all while serving and entertaining New York, only like New Yorkers can. I know that there's a lot of great uncertainty and fear, but as you know, there's also reason for hope. The vaccines have arrived in New York, and all indicators show that by spring, we will start to emerge from this pandemic on the other side of what looks to be a long and difficult winter. Knowing this, the best way to weather through the last few months of this storm is to be as prepared as possible, to anticipate that it will be a struggle, and to make sure that you have all the information and access to resources and support that you will need to get by and to hold on. Whether it be knowing what to do if you contract the virus, knowing what resources are available for depression prevention and support, how to find reliable food security, knowing where to get free and affordable health insurance regardless of income or immigration status, or understanding unemployment insurance. The city does have resources for you, and we will be sharing them with you today. We have also invited the Freelancers Union, who has compiled a comprehensive list of grants and funds for the hospitality and nightlife industry and workers for you to access, because as you know, the city is also in a financial crisis. So let's get started. And with that, I will let you know that we have with us, as you can see on the screen, a lot of city agencies and offices and resources. And not all, but some will be giving a presentation, and each also will have a slide on the screen with the links. So I recommend or suggest that you also take screenshots of that information as we go. There will be a Q&A after the presentations, but you can also ask your questions in the Q&A chat room, and people from these representatives from these agencies will also be answering them in real time in the chat, so we can try to get as many answers to your questions as possible. So with that said, let us begin this call. And we will start with Chelsea Cipriano. She is from the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, or DOH, as many of you know it as. And she's here to explain what is going on first with the COVID cases in the city. And we will also have Risa from Test and Trace Corps, and together they will share what are the latest statistics, what's going on with vaccines, and where you can get tested, and what is Test and Trace all about. So please welcome Chelsea Cipriano.
Thanks, Ariel, and thank you everyone for joining and for giving us the time to speak to you. I know it's been a really rough year. It continues to be a really, really tough fall into winter, and I just want to extend my hope that all of you are staying healthy and well, and your families are healthy and well. We know that this pandemic has had a really immense impact on folks, not just from a loss of life and illness, but from a loss of livelihoods as well. And I just want to extend my well wishes of health and safety to all of you for the winter time. I am unfortunately usually not the bearer of great news, but right now is no different. We are at a really pivotal moment in the city where we need to have hope for what is to come, a light at the end of the tunnel. With the recent announcements about a vaccine, starting to be delivered in a phased approach, first to high-risk healthcare workers, just starting yesterday in the city, but also have a moment of reality where we are in a very bad place with COVID in the city right now. We are, seeing spikes in cases and hospitalizations, and those translate to real people and real lives. And I think we just really need to remind everyone that you don't throw the oars out of the boat just because you see shore. That's what we need to do here. We need to maintain, buckle down, and really continue practicing our core four, staying home as much as possible, particularly if you're sick or if you've been exposed to COVID, keeping your hands clean, keeping 6 feet of distance, and wearing masks. In addition to that, we're really, really urging everyone not to travel or gather for the holidays. This is so hard this time of year, but absolutely critical. And, of course, continue to get tested. We're urging all New Yorkers to get tested. We've made testing, it's very easily accessible now. And so urge you to get tested. And if you do test positive, take advantage of the many free services the city has to offer you through our Test and Trace Take Care program. So, I encourage you, I won't take more time about the public health data. Please check out our website. Look at the data yourself. You can go in and kind of dig into it and see what I'm talking about. We are really, really concerned about these increases, and we need everyone to do everything they can to buckle down, this winter, stay vigilant, and do everything we can to bring these numbers down. So I appreciate the time. I'm here for questions. I do want to pass it over to my colleague Risa from Test and Trace to talk a little bit about testing resources, how you can access those, what you can do to get into Take Care resources. I'd be remiss very quickly. Ariel, I will touch base very quickly on, what to do if there's a case among your staff. I know we get a lot of questions about that. So on this slide, you can see, I'm so sorry.
These are so better to, in the event that they should get sick and so forth. Are you speaking to the suite of resources that are available, or
I can do a lead in and then Risa will speak to it. So I think after, if you do have an employee or you yourselves do contract COVID-19, for all employers in New York State, for most employers in New York State, I will say, they're required to report cases of employees, confirmed cases, to the health department, to the city and state health department. So we have a number here for you. You can call and report those cases and meet that requirement. I want to be clear, when you report a case to us, I don't want folks to imagine like the health department, coming in jackets and coming in your doors and closing down your restaurant. That's not our goal. The goal of contact tracing is to figure out where transmission may have occurred or where you were during your infectious period, so we can stop transmission. We can stop it in its tracks and ensure that other people don't get sick, your other employees, their families, patrons, et cetera, et cetera. So that's really the goal of contact tracing. I'm going to let Risa talk a little bit more about what type of resources are available to you if you do test positive, or if you have a close contact who has tested positive. We have lots of things available to everyone, and we really want New Yorkers to take advantage of them. That's how we stop transmission. So Risa, I'll pass it over to you to talk a little bit about Take Care and how people can access those resources.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Great.
Risa, you're muted now. Risa.
Unmuted. Okay, here I am. Thank you. Sorry about that. So as you can see from the screen, those are some of our resources. I really want to focus on the Take Care piece. If you do test positive, there's a Take Care services. You can see the number. It's a very easy number. We were lucky to get. It's 212 COVID-19. And you can access services if you want a ride somewhere. There's free hotels available if it's difficult for you to quarantine. We really want to make it easy for people to quarantine. If you need a dog walker, meal services, pharmacy delivery, we have a packet that we send that has a pulse oximeter in it. We are making every effort to make it easy for people to stay home when they test positive, so they don't transmit the disease, because really what we want to do is we want to get everybody back to work. And the only way to do that is to stop the cases as they come. So that's the phone number. In terms of testing resources, there are test sites popping up all the time. And to find one near you, you can either text COVID test, or you can go on to nyc.gov/COVID test and find a testing site in your area. If anybody has any questions, I'll be here for the remainder to answer them. Do you have anything to add, Chelsea? No, all good. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Risa and Chelsea. I just want to note the other bits of information on the slide. Obviously, right now, indoor dining is closed, but we've also seen that the city and the state have created different zones. You can find out what zone you're in and what restrictions are applying to your zone, and check on it regularly. And there's also a link for the New York State guidelines. The majority of the guidelines are coming from the state. And so please take a screenshot of this slide so that you can know what resources and contacts to check in with regularly. Next, I wanted to invite Mamu, I'm so sorry. I'm having,
You're fine.
I think it's I think it's misspelled. From the Department of Health. He works with Thrive NYC and can speak to really making sure that there is a consciousness for your mental health. This is a very stressful time. There are resources for prevention and also what happens in the event that you are feeling down, and to really be prepared to go through this time right now. So Mamoon, thank you.
Yeah.
It is misspelled on my speaking notes,
No,
sorry.
you're fine, Ariel. Thank you so much. So I think everybody will agree that during COVID-19, all of our mental health um, has been impacted one way or the other. From the data that's come in, it's almost been a year now, right? We've seen increases in anxiety, depression, stress, certainly, especially if you're on the business owner end of things, right? Substance use has gone up and even domestic violence, right? And so when we look at the data for what's causing the rise in all of these things, grief and loss is actually the thing that explains it the least. The bigger concern is COVID related concerns like the economic instability, food insecurity, right? Immigration issues and things like that. But really, the biggest contributor to the rise in depression and anxiety during this year has been isolation and loneliness, right? It turns out we were meant to be in each other's company, right? Aristotle said man is a social animal, right? And so, with the decline in us being able to socialize by this seemingly unseen virus, those mental health concerns have been amplified, right? And so, as non clinicians, it turns out that in a time of a pandemic, working for the Division of Mental Hygiene, our job is to remind everybody that um, it's all common sense stuff, what I'm going to say, right? Mental health work, actually, clinicians get paid to do that, but a lot of it we can all do because we're all each other's keeper, right? So it's common sense information. My mom always says, though, common sense is not so common. So I was invited to remind everybody that how do you flag a crisis situation in a person's mental health who's around you? We're talking about our family, our friends, our members of our faith network, perhaps, right? It's the fact that you know what everybody's norm is, right? If you take a good look at the screen here, you know that I build this body on eating, not fasting, right? So when my family members see that I'm not eating enough, they say, "Is everything okay with you?" Right? And that begins the conversation because they know that I can fall into unhealthy coping strategies. Like what? Misuse of alcohol and drugs, the easy answer, right? Unnecessary spending is something that we have to flag in a time like this. Not because you're ordering online because of social distancing, is are you buying more things than usual to deal with the stressor? Something we have to flag with each other, right? In ourselves first before we do with everybody else. Overexposure to media, the CDC has identified the fact that all of the overexposure to media, social media in a time like this is a contributor to our mental health, right? The reason why we're talking about the unhealthy coping strategies that are a reality during a time like this is so that we can actually steer each other because we accept the stressors are there. We accept the fact that we can fall into the unhealthy coping strategies so that we can steer ourselves and the people around us in those three groups, right? Friends, family, faith networks towards healthy coping strategies. And the ones that have been identified in this time is staying connected to family and friends. This is information from the CDC, right? Why stay connected to family and friends and make an effort to sort of do more of the FaceTime, do the family Zoom calls and things like that? Because we identified that the biggest contributor to depression and anxiety during this time is isolation and loneliness, right? So we have to break that through exercise, getting outside, getting some sunlight, right? Creative writing and journalism. At a church training, somebody told me that she's keeping a gratitude journal, and it's been the only thing that's helping her live through this pandemic, right? And one very important thing, increasing self-awareness, social awareness, right? Making a difference, not just in our own lives, but in the people around us, right? I have a few resources to share with you that you've been looking at. And like Ariel said, please feel free to take a screenshot of this, note them down, right? NYC Well is a city resource, right? If you go to that website, you can call 888 NYC Well. You can go to nyc.gov/NYC Well, or you can text the word well to 65173 to access mental health care. Think of NYC Well as your premier go-to mental health resource for our city, right? 311 for the municipal stuff. Think of NYC Well as the mental health stuff, right? There's state resources like the COVID-19 emotional support hotline at 844-863-9314. That's for everything from mental health support from the state Office of Mental Health to where to get COVID testing and things like that. Because we mentioned substance use and even domestic violence and things like that going up, the New York State Office of Addiction Services and Support Hotline is there. That's 8778-HOPE-NY, right? That's a number to reach out to for problem gambling, substance use, and things like that. One last thing I'll leave you with is that in a time like this, for us to come out of this time without incurring a debt in terms of our mental health, because it's very hard to imagine a reality where we come out of it better, right? We want to come out of it not being damaged by the stressors of the pandemic, right? And so we have to do two things. One is prioritize self-care and make a difference in terms of our resilience, right? Resilience, this ability to bounce back from a time like the time that we're living through, right? And so thankfully, from Thrive NYC and the Department of Health, we teach a class called COVID-19 Community Conversations. It's given virtually. You see that that's the last point on the slide there. It's called the 3C presentation. We talk about what are the resources that are out there, what are the exercises you can do, how can we prioritize resilience and self-care. So that's a class that you can sign up for. I'll put the link in the chat for those of you that can see it. And then you just click and you find open classes. We teach them about 6 to 7 days out of the week. And it's just a 1-hour presentation. And it's really something to it's really proselytizing the point of mental health, right? For us to be able to better help ourselves and the people around us, we need the tools, and we'll bring you those tools for free. Thank you so much for having me. Ariel,
Thank you so much, Mamoun. Really important information and great presentation. I really thought it was important and appreciate you including the information around this 90-minute live webinar course. There may be people on this call that are the heads of some of these new coalitions and alliances in hospitality that are emerging. And so you can call that number to arrange a more personal, longer mental health seminar for your membership if you feel that it would be helpful. So just wanted to point out that information. Thank you so much again. We are now moving on to Marielle Kress. She works with New York City Health and Hospitals with the NYC Care Division, which is access to insurance, and she'll be able to give more information about that.
Thanks so much, Ariel, and it's great to be with everybody today. I echo the others who said that our support and our love and our thanks all go out to the folks on this call. We know that the pandemic is hitting this group particularly hard, and so we're thinking of you and we're working hard to make sure that city services are available to you. I am the executive director of the NYC Care program, which is run out of New York City Health and Hospitals, and it's a healthcare access program that guarantees low cost and no cost services to New Yorkers, regardless of immigration, income, or insurance status. And so we know that a lot of people are uninsured, maybe for the first time, and losing insurance and might need help getting access to insurance. So we can help do that. But you can also call 311 and ask for assistance with getting connected to health insurance. But for the folks who are ineligible for health insurance, they don't have a social security number, they might be undocumented. We have NYC Care, which provides connections to primary care, specialty care, pharmacy services for people who are not eligible for health insurance. So we know that ongoing access to care and having a relationship with a primary care doctor is so connected to people's ability to fight COVID-19, to be strong and healthy workers and come to work and keep their families safe as well. So we want everybody to have access to comprehensive, affordable healthcare, no matter whether they were born in this country, what their immigration status is, or how much money they have. So please contact us at the hotline 646 NYC Care, access in many, many, many different languages, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you can learn more about the program at our website, www.nyccare.nyc. So thanks, everyone, and I'll take any questions you may have. Ariel, I think you're on mute.
Yes, it's inevitable. Thank you for that. I was saying that everyone should just remember that they can ask questions currently in the Q&A. You're available, and then afterward we'll be bringing questions into the live forum. And I think just to reemphasize that this is really regardless of immigration status and income, and for everyone really to share this information with anyone they think would benefit from this, and not to be worried about it if they should need it. Next, I'm going to introduce Liz Vladeck. She's from the Mayor's Office of Policy and Planning to speak about unemployment insurance and other labor issues that are arising right now. She will have a brief presentation and again is available to answer questions in the chat and after the presentations. Please welcome Liz. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm also really glad to be with you today, especially because I know that unemployment insurance has been a really frustrating and confusing topic all of these months. I want to start by just making a very broad, rough distinction between two key programs, the two different categories of unemployment insurance that are available. What you're looking at on the screen is the federal program that was specially set up for uninsurance during the pandemic. It's called Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, and it's specifically for folks who wouldn't be covered by regular unemployment insurance. And so, in fact, you'll hear me refer to regular UI and PUA, Pandemic Unemployment Assistance. You'll see here that the scenarios are laid out where you would qualify under PUA. And that includes, again, folks ordinarily not eligible like freelancers, the self-employed, independent contractors, but also people who cannot work right now because of a COVID-related issue. And so given, the 6-year-old that's been making it so easy for me to work these last 9 months, I will focus, for example, on the fact that if you are the primary caregiver for a kid or for a dependent, and their care, their school, their caretaker is unavailable, and you have no other choice but to care for them and you can't work, that is an example of when PUA would apply to you, when you would be eligible for benefits under that program. I think there's been a pretty high level of anxiety because this program is actually due to expire on December 26th, which would mean the Christmas week would be the last week for which you could receive benefits. Fortunately, fingers crossed, hopefully, optimistically, it looks like Congress is getting close to agreeing to extend this program, which so many of us have been pounding on the table about for so long, because otherwise it's just a cliff that disappears. I want to make one more distinction between PUA and regular unemployment, and then just say a few things that apply to both programs. The key distinction, and again, this is on the slide, is how many actual weeks of benefits you qualify for, depending on which of these two programs you qualify under. And so if you are now or will receive unemployment benefits under PUA, you can collect up to a total of 46 weeks of benefits. That's one bucket. On the other hand, if you're covered under regular unemployment insurance, there are 3 different buckets of weeks that you can use of claims. And when one ends, the next one picks up. Your regular baseline in New York State is 26 weeks. Under a federal program that is also supposed to end very soon, but also we hope to see extended, there's another 13 weeks plus 20 additional weeks in New York State of extended benefits due to the high rate of unemployment. So that's a total of 59 weeks. So that's a key difference between the two programs, but let me talk for a minute about the things that they have in common. First of all, you apply the same way. The only website I've put on this slide is the State Department of Labor website, because that's where you go to file an application. It's going to advise you about the documents you need, and you file the same application. You don't have to figure out which program covers you. DOL is going to do that. The maximum weekly benefit is the same under PUA and regular unemployment, although your specific weekly benefit will be determined based on your work history. But the maximum benefit in New York State is $504 a week. And again, that's true both under PUA and regular unemployment. Another thing we're very hopeful about, anyone who may have started collecting benefits back in the spring may recall that extra $600 a week that made a huge difference for all of us for a while through the end of July. And then that extra $600 went away. Part of the discussion in Congress is to restore that benefit, though only at a rate of about $300 a week. And that's up over and above whatever your baseline benefit is under either program. No matter how much you collect from week to week, that $300 is a constant. The last thing I want to say is just to focus your attention on this bottom item on my slide about part-time work. So much of work is so precarious right now. There are many of us who are working and then not, and then working and then not. Or there are lots of us who may have had full-time work that has gone down to part-time work or sporadic work. We've lost income. There is a misperception that unemployment insurance is only there if you've completely lost all of your income. That's not the case. Once your claim is certified by the state, by Department of Labor, you have established a benefit year, and you can certify for benefits any week during that year when you have worked fewer than 4 days and earned less than $504 a week. So if you've worked a day or two and earned $200, you should certify a claim for that week, and you can collect at least a partial benefit to help keep you afloat and supplement that week's benefit. I know it's all really complicated and frustrating. The state departments of labor have been really overwhelmed, and that's made it even harder to get clear answers. Folks who have been dealing with this for a while will probably say the same thing I will, which is just be persistent. And if you need legal advice, the New York City Bar Association helps connect folks to attorneys and has really good information about unemployment that they keep pretty well up to date. And I'll be watching the chat and available to answer questions. So thanks, and I hope everyone has a good holiday.
Thank you so much, Liz, for that really important and helpful information. I know you're available for questions if anyone has them. Next, we're going to get into the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection with Tangela Rahman and Alberto Roldan, and they'll be speaking a little bit about paid sick leave, worker protection hotline, and other financial empowerment centers.
Sure, good afternoon. Thanks for having us. So I'm going to briefly touch on our paid safe and sick leave law, namely our new amendments that recently went into effect. So as of September 30th, employees no longer have to wait the 120-day waiting period to use their sick leave. Employees can now use their sick leave as soon as they accrue it, which is great. It's easier access to the sick leave, especially now. So that's for all workers. And then effective January 1st of next year, those of 100 or more employees are eligible up to 56 hours of paid leave. So those are just two brief amendments that we have with the paid sick leave. So again, 40 hours, up to 40 hours, that's the minimum. We do push for more if the employer wants to be more generous, by all means, do that. But again, that's for the paid sick leave. If employees have questions or employers have questions, they want to have more information, you can call 311 and say paid sick leave, or say worker protection hotline. Either line would get you to our office. So I think Tangela will go ahead and talk about our financial empowerment centers and those related resources.
Thank you, Alberto.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. In addition to our workplace rights and resources for workers, we do have programs available. Our agency supports New Yorkers improve their financial health through our financial empowerment centers. So our New York City financial empowerment centers provide free financial counseling and coaching to support New Yorkers reach their financial goals. Due to the health and safety of our providers and clients, our financial empowerment sessions are going to be conducted over the phone remotely. And this free financial counseling is available for all New Yorkers that are over 18. There's no income limit, and we'll never ask. All of our resources are available free. We'll never ask for anyone's immigration status. To make an appointment with our financial counselor, you can visit our website, nyc.gov/talkmoney, or call 311 and ask for a financial counseling appointment. Our financial counselors can help New Yorkers manage sudden changes to their household budget or income and develop a spending plan. They can help contact creditors about existing loans, including student loans, and develop a strategy to minimize debt. We also want to highlight that if you are facing financial hardship due to COVID-19, you can request debt collection agencies to stop contacting you about your existing debt. Our agency, we've created a form template that you can fill out and mail, required by federal law. So debt collectors can't contact you until the state of emergency in New York City has ended. We do encourage everyone to visit our website and call 311 for more information. And me and Alberto will be on for any questions following this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tangela. Oh, am I muted? No. Okay. Thank you so much, Tangela and Alberto. Really good to know that there are these resources to help people get creditors off their back right now. So everyone, please do take a screenshot of this slide to make sure you have the information you need. I will now move on to I believe Lisbeth, who is with the Human Resources Administration, otherwise known as HRA, to talk about different benefits available through the HRA portal. Thank you so much. Are you with us?
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Hi,
great.
can you hear me?
Yes, Lisbeth, thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Again, I'm Lisbeth Pereira, and thank you for being here today. I'm very happy to join. And I'm here from the New York City Human Resources Administration, also known as the Department of Social Services. And we're here to provide some information on public financial assistance benefits. As others have mentioned, this is a particularly difficult time and there is a lot of need. So we want to be sure that you all know what is available for you at this time. So I'll start with just mentioning a few of our benefits. I'll start with cash assistance. If you are interested in cash assistance, you may qualify for temporary assistance on an ongoing basis. So if folks need help ongoing, cash assistance is a benefit that you can take advantage of. Also, there is a one-time assistance, also called one-shot deal, which is to meet an emergency need. So say you don't find yourself needing ongoing help, but do need assistance with perhaps some backed up rent or utility bills, can certainly apply for a one-shot deal, again, or cash assistance, depending on your particular situation, if you find yourself in an unforeseen circumstance that prevents you from meeting any expenses in a particular time. We also have the Home Energy Assistance Program, also known as HEAP, which provides assistance to meeting heating and fuel costs. Also, some emergency repair costs for heating is available during these winter months. And lastly, we also have what many folks know as food stamps or the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP. And this assists low to moderate income New Yorkers, whether you're elderly or a working family or disabled, to buy healthy and nutritious food. And SNAP recipients are able to use an EBT card where funds are deposited to purchase that food at that time. Just a quick note on eligibility for these HRA benefits. The services depend on a variety of factors, such as income, your expenses, resources, household composition, so how many folks live in your house, and immigration status. For all of the benefits that I mentioned and more, folks can apply and manage their cases via Access HRA. During this pandemic, most of our benefits are available on Access HRA, which limits the need for folks to have to come into a center or have to leave their homes. You can apply and manage your cases directly online. And that website is on the screen there, www.nyc.gov/accesshra. And again, this is a public facing website that allows new applicants and current clients to apply and manage their benefits. Folks on there can apply for cash assistance, for emergency assistance, for SNAP, and also for Fair Fares, which is the discounted MetroCard program. You can submit any required documents that we may need from you. There's also a mobile application that you can use for this. You can submit any case changes, and you can also read any notices that we send to you. So all can be done there on Access HRA. If folks are unable to file an application via Access HRA, you can also call 311 or info line, which is at 718-557-1399 for assistance in submitting applications over the phone. And for all of these benefits, if an interview is required, they will all be done over the phone, and HRA will call clients. So we are really trying hard to limit the need for folks to have to, come to us. But do know that all of these benefits are available to you all. Anyone can apply, and determinations, are made at that time. But these benefits are here for you if you need it. We know that folks are finding themselves in situations that they've never been in before, and we just want to ensure that these benefits are here for everyone to take advantage of. So thank you so much for having me, and I'll be sure to answer any questions that come in via the Q&A chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Lizbeth. Actually, before we move forward, does your agency also represent NYC Food? Is that what it's called, where the food pantries and food services are available?
Yes, so that is a part of HRA, and I can certainly provide the link to where those locations can be accessed. I can put it over on the on the chat if that's helpful.
It is. Do you have a little bit more information about what that is and who it serves and so forth?
Sure, absolutely. So the pantries are available for all New Yorkers, regardless of income, regardless of immigration status, regardless of resources, regardless of whether you have a job or not. They are for all New Yorkers. And in the link that I'll share, you can find local locations near you, and information with times and dates that are sort of open and available, and folks can access fresh food there.
Yes, it's called Get Food NYC, I think. I misspoke. So yeah, this is a really important and valuable resource right now. No one should go hungry ever in New York. There's plenty of food, plenty of places to get it. If you need it, if you know other people that need it, please make sure that they have access to this information. Thank you again, Lizbeth, most appreciated. I'm going to move forward a little bit, skip forward and then go back to Rafael Espinal. He is our former council member in Brooklyn, and also the council member who wrote the bill for the Office of Nightlife is worth mentioning when Mayor de Blasio passed it, and is now the head of the Freelancers Union. So he's here today to share a little bit about what the Freelancer Union services are, as well as some of the grants that are available to everyone on the call today. Thank you, Rafael.
Thank you, Ariel, and the Office of Nightlife for putting together this call and making sure that the workers in nightlife, the creatives, hospitality industries are all being listened to and attended to. As you mentioned, when I drafted the bill to create the office, my goal was that every stakeholder in nightlife and hospitality had a voice and had a place they can go to get information, and you're doing just that, so we really appreciate that. First and foremost, I want to say that the union stands in solidarity with everyone on this call. We have been working day and night advocating to ensure you have access to relief and information to help you get through what I call the biggest financial crisis that has hit the freelance and creative economy in modern history. We actually worked hand in hand to put together this list of grants that currently exist for New Yorkers with the Office of Nightlife. So if you're a creative, a freelancer, a restaurant, or bar worker, or venue operator, there is something here for you. So we encourage you to go through this list. The union itself is also going to take this list and put it on our website at freelancersunion.org under the link of COVID resources, where you will also find other programs and forms of relief that exist in New York City and across the country. I know Marielle spoke from the New York City Health and Hospitals, but I also want to encourage and also inform you that the union is also works to curate health insurance options that exist. It is open enrollment. It is going to end sometime in the next month. So if you go on our site, you'll see providers like Metro Plus that uses the health and hospital systems, and also Emblem Health. I also want to call on all of you, because we need your voice. We need you to stand up to push Congress to ensure that there is a COVID relief package that passes by the end of the month. If all goes right, and if your voice is heard loud enough, I'd be, I think, confident in saying that we will see an expansion in unemployment insurance, but we're also pushing to reintroduce a $600 bonus that was so vital to keep all of you afloat. I know there's a lot of folks who now currently qualify for unemployment insurance, but the amount they're getting on a weekly basis just really isn't enough to be able to get through the cost of living in our city. We're also pushing for rent and mortgage relief. And there are other amazing groups that have joined us in this call, and we also have joined them and supporting them, like NIVA, the National Independent Venue Association, who has been doing a lot of great work on the ground to save our stages and help keep our jobs in our city and our culture. So go on the website as well at NIVA Association, so you can help join their efforts and also look at the resources they're offering. So thank you again. I appreciate all of your work, and we stand side by side with everyone to ensure we get through on the other side. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Raphael. I really appreciate you being here today. I believe that you have, I think it's 2 slides, not 1, maybe more. So everyone, please make sure to take a screenshot of this information. It is in the chat, but we will also be sending, putting this information on our website and sending it in a follow-up email in the event some people can't access the chat right now. Thank you. Oh, Raphael, actually, would you mind just speaking a little bit about the Freelancers Hub? I know you you work in partnership with the Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment. Usually it's a brick and mortar space.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. You know, we work in partnership with MOM, the Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment, to create a Freelancers Hub, and normally it's a free co-working space in which you can go and access as long as you're a member of the union. And you'll be able to do your work from there. And also, while you're in that space, you know, we work to provide programming using expert instructors to help you upskill, help you learn how to manage your business, get help with any legal situations you might be dealing with, get help with filing your taxes. But because we are all working from home now, the hub has gone virtual, so you can receive all of this free programming through our website. If you go under Freelancers Hub, you'll have access to the programming we're offering. Our last program for the month is going to be on December 18th. We're going to take a brief break through January and then try to get things back in order for the spring and be able to curate programming that we believe will best suit your needs. So, you know, as we work through that, hang tight, but the hub will come back stronger than before. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks. I wanted to make sure that we got that in there. Most of the people on this call, a lot at least, are freelancers and creatives and musicians and people who are part-time. And I really encourage everyone to become a member. It's free for the Freelancers Union and the hub in Brooklyn, whether it be virtual now or in person once we get through this COVID experience, is really an incredible resource to support you and something you really shouldn't miss because it's available. So thank you again, Raphael. We're gonna now have our last speaker and then get into Q&A. I'm going to invite Juan Venero and Greta Aiken from the Mayor's Office to Protect Tenants' Rights, to talk about your tenants' rights and the help that they provide.
Thank you, Ariel. And I also want to say thank you for everyone else at the Office of Nightlife for including us today at your town call. My name is Juan Venero, and I am the Special Assistant for the Mayor's Office to Protect Tenants. And as you mentioned, I'm also joined with my colleague, Greta Aiken, who is our Outreach and Engagement Coordinator. Very quickly, before we just go over these resources, I know that we might be unfamiliar to a few folks here. We are a relatively new office. We were created back in January of 2019, and we serve as a core part of the strategies for the city to confront the affordable housing crisis. Through then, we've coordinated along with other city agencies that deals with similar tenant issues, and we've worked with them to come up with these important resources sharing today. So one of those resources that we will be speaking today about is our tenant helpline. The tenant helpline was created in partnership with MT, the Office of Civil Justice, as well as PEU, which is the Mayor's Public Engagement Unit. The helpline was created to better connect New York City tenants with the assistance that they might need to solve their housing issues, of course, especially in the light of COVID-19. In order to get in contact with the helpline, you would have to just dial 311 and ask to speak with the tenant helpline. Once you're redirected, you will then be prompted to our helpline voicemail box, where you would need to leave a detailed message regarding housing situation, as well as contact information, which then will be rerouted over to one of our tenant support specialists, who will then further contact the caller. Of course, the specialist will then evaluate the tenant's issues, provide consultation, coaching, and possible case management depending on the severity of the issues, help their problem, and of course, also depending on how severe the cases could be, the tenant could also sometimes be connected with free legal service providers and receive possible free legal representation. Helpline staff could help with more line. Of course, all you need to do as a required tenant living in the New York City area does not matter your income, your immigration status, or zip code. And of course, the helpline is also accessible in English. If the actual specialist cannot speak your language, we will then be further connected with an interpreter that will help you guide through that conversation. So once again, the tenant helpline, you will need to just call 311 and request to speak with the tenant helpline, and then you will be prompted to the voicemail. Our second resource that we have would be our tenant resource portal, which is something that we've actually have begun our second phase. However, our first phase, which is the one that we're currently speaking today, is the first city hosted platform where we have available for tenants who are at risk of eviction to go to get their needs. So this portal is a completely interactive portal on our website, which will guide you through several questions pertaining to your housing situation. Upon answering the questions, of course, it would lead on to provide you the best relative resource to assist. So some of the examples of questions you might see when you first prompt to the portal would be if you have received a letter from your landlord, or if you've been behind on rent, or if you've been harassed, for example, by your landlord or in cause of being evicted. And of course, once the portal gets a better sense of your situation, it will gather all information, all resources, public and private, that we've gathered from other city agencies, as well as CBOs, to provide you answers or the best results that we possibly can. However, of course, we understand that not all cases are simple and might need more attention, which then, of course, if needed, it will provide you a contact form at the end of the page where you will list all the information that you've stated. And of course, that would be redirected to our tenant helpline specialist, who will then call you and further elaborate more on the issues that you might be having. And of course, to get on to the portal, the site is right there. The link, it's nyc.gov/tenant resource portal. And of course, we also have it available in Spanish, which is nyc.gov/portal para inquilinos. Those are the two currently that we have at this time that have been professionally translated. However, that does not mean that those are the only two accessible language available. For those who use the internet, Chrome extensions, you might be able to have the ability to do a Google Translate for the page, which of course we do opt people to use if they would like to, but of course there's no guarantee that the translation is 100%. But we of course like to anyone who would like more information, to contact us also through that contact form. And that's another thing that you would find on our website, as well as our fact sheet, which is our third resource that we'll be speaking about today. Our fact sheet, which is considered as our informational resource for New York City impacted by COVID-19, is one that we've been continuously updating throughout the months since COVID to provide up-to-date information regarding the eviction moratoria and also regarding the housing court operations. So we have these fact sheets provided on our website. It's the first purple banner that you will see on our homepage. We'll also have those available in 10 languages. Our website as well, on top of the fact sheet, we have other resources on our resource tabs that we have, such as our eviction prevention, which is a one-pager that provide also all the information that's needed for those who are in risk of being evicted, translated into this. And of course, we have our contact page is similar to the one that you would find on the last page of the portal. This is another way where you'll be able to redirect your inquiry to our office and get directed to our housing specialist, who will then be able to contact you and provide further guidance on your issues. And the last two you see there are our social media pages. We have Twitter, we have LinkedIn currently as our way of engaging with our public audience. If there's any way, if you would like to reach out to us via Twitter, do a direct message, or through LinkedIn, please do so. We do try to engage as much. As I stated, we are a fairly new office, so we're trying to make sure that we could publicize what we have available. And if you guys are able to help share that with us as well in the social media platforms, that would be awesome. But that for now is all we have for the resources. And I have my colleague Greta Aiken that's also here to assist in answering any questions that you might have.
Thank you so much, Juan. That's incredibly important information, especially now. I know the rents and the landlords and potential fear of eviction is a huge fear, contributing to a lot of pressure and stress. And so thank you for sharing that. I'm just going to check here. I know that that was our last presentation, and now we're going to move into the Q&A portion. We have just about a half an hour left. And I'm going to pass it over to Jose now, who can start with the Q&A portion. Are you there, Jose?
Hi, yes, we have a question from Erica. Erica's asking, is there a possibility to have performances and events in outdoor public spaces?
You know what I should have mentioned, actually, I'm sorry. Before we get into the Q&A part, I want to also mention that we have 3 other representatives from different agencies and offices in the administration. Joining us will be Ellen Canfield from the Mayor's Office of Citywide Events Coordination and Management. Also known as SAPO or CECM. We also have Stephen Picker, who is here regarding representing the Department of Small Business Services, SBS, and their food and beverage industry partnership, as well as Derek Wang from the Department of Cultural Affairs. So Jose, could you please ask the question again and then maybe propose it to which of the agencies you think is best to answer that question?
Sure thing. I think this is probably a question for Ellen from CECM. And this question is from Erica, who is asking if there's a possibility to have performances and events in outdoor spaces.
Ellen, are you with us still?
Whoop, here I am. Great. I'm back. Thanks so much, Jose. So I'm going to answer the question as sort of succinctly as I can, and it is a complicated question depending on what kind of space we're discussing. So right now, any gathering of over 50 people is not permitted. So that's sort of the starting point. I specifically deal with permits for streets and plazas. So if that's streets, plazas, and parks, there are certainly ways to do outdoor activations, pop-up performances, things like that. But as sort of has been the theme of this call, we're really, really limiting the opportunities for things to happen in public spaces that would draw a crowd. What I would encourage everyone to do is go to, included in all of the links that Ariel is sending out, the Department of Parks website and our website, the Street Activity Permitting website, is the best way to find out exactly what you can do in those spaces. And then another important thing that I want to share is that beginning in March, we'll have a new program available called Open Culture that will be specifically to allow for ticketed revenue generating performances in street spaces. So that will be an opportunity for cultural organizations and venue owners to actually apply for space. It's a streamlined permit. There's a quick turnaround on the decision making for that, and that will actually be so you can hold an opportunity for ticketed performances. So that will be starting March 1st. You know, the other unfortunate reality, as with everything, is that the weather, plays a big factor, and we wouldn't want people to set up for huge outdoor venues or theaters when it's not going to be possible to continue those throughout the winter, but we'll be ready to roll out that program starting March 1st.
Thank you so much, Ellen. Actually, that's really, I hope, very good news for a lot of people on this call. The inability to host ticketed and promoted events in outdoor spaces once spring comes, as I know, was stressful. And being able to find a way to do that come this spring is going to be great. I know those details are unfolding, and as more information comes, we'll be sure to share it, as we will probably have another town call to go into it in more detail when the time is right. So thank you again for being here. And Ellen is still available in the Q&A if anyone should have any follow-up questions. Thank you, Ellen.
Thanks.
Jose, is there another question?
Hi, staying on this topic, we have a question from Kyla about performances that might be for Judith and Kevin at Mayor's Council, or maybe our colleagues at DCWP. Kyla is asking, they're seeing performances happening at various levels, both indoors and outside, and there's general confusion about what is and is not allowed. Can we help clarify? Kyla's also been offered a few gigs in which producers were not able to guarantee mask wearing or social distancing. Are there any laws around this to protect freelancers so they don't have to go head to head with the people who are hiring them?
So that may be a good question for Judith or Kevin, yes? Jose?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are still on the call.
Hi, yeah, my name is Kevin Kelly. I'm an attorney. I'm an associate counsel at the Mayor's Council's office, first of all. So this is actually a very tricky question. There's a lot of confusion out there, understandably. I think we would actually need more information in order about what type of performance you're referring to. For example, in outdoor dining outdoor dining space is really the only type of performance that is allowed right now is incidental music to the dining experience. No ticketed performances are allowed. So I wish I had a better answer right now, but it really would depend on your specific circumstance. That's the first part of your question. I will say that MOAM, I believe, has an FAQ document that touches on this topic, which I believe is available on their website, Ariel, I think. And
Yeah, that's right.
And that might be a good place to start. But yeah, it points to a larger issue. A lot of the questions that come up with respect to the governor's executive orders, the mayor's executive orders, are very fact specific, for better or worse. So I would suggest that you start there. and see if your question can be answered on that FAQ. And Judith, you want to add anything there?
Sorry, let me unmute. And I think also going to that second part of the question in terms of being on set, I think I would also refer you to the MOM FAQs, which are really helpful. But I think we would also need more specific information to answer your question on what exactly you're being asked to do while you're on set. And I'm actually seeing a follow-up in the queue. It's specialty performances that are unannounced and unadvertised. And so I think we would just need more specific information. As Kevin said, it's a tricky question on the exact types of performances you're talking about. Is it a dance? Is it a comedy show? Is it instrumentalist? And I think, if you can type it in, we can always circle back with you after and answer that question for you.
Thank you, Judith. And thank you, Kevin. We have dropped the MOM, which is the Mayor's Office for Media and Entertainment, for those of you who don't know, is FAQ about live music events and performances. In the event that anyone does have a more specific question along the way, you're always welcome to reach out to the Office of Nightlife and we can try to find answers for you, if not today, down the road. And if you do have a more specific question, Mayor's Council is here to be able to answer that. Judith and Kevin, while we have you on the line, is there anything maybe that you've heard in the last hour or so that you want to chime in on, or just wait for potentially the next question? And I just want to give you that opportunity.
Yeah, excuse me. I did want to point out that we have various FAQs, charts, resources, understanding that a lot of these rules and regulations are very complicated. We've tried to create some sort of user-friendly documents to help folks, running a business, maybe confused about, for example, the outdoor dining restrictions. We have a Twitter account you can follow us on that we tweet these documents out. It's at NYC Mayor Council. And if you Google us at NYC Council to the Mayor, you should be able to find our website. The link is a little bit long, but all of our stuff is posted there. We encourage you to check it out. And yeah, it's a good place to start, understanding that there is a lot of confusion out there, and we do our best to try to clarify that with some of these documents.
Thank you so much, Kevin. We'll make sure to put that in the link as well. And I will pass it to Jose for the next question.
Yeah, I think this is a question perhaps for Stephen from SBS. Jason is asking, does the city have any resources to help people who are looking to find work?
Great question, thanks. And thanks for having me and SBS join today. I think most people tend to think about Department of Small Business Services as a department that obviously helps small businesses. And I lead a team within SBS called the Food and Beverage Industry Partnership that obviously helps food and beverage and hospitality businesses, but we also realize that, as does all of SBS, that a huge majority of those businesses are the workers that work within those businesses. So much of SBS's work focuses on workforce development, and we provide a variety of trainings for workers through our partnering businesses, but we also provide training for and connection to jobs for people who are currently unemployed or looking to change careers. So I just want to draw everyone's attention specifically to SBS's virtual Workforce One Career Center system. 18, when we were brick and mortar, 18 locations around the city in all 5 boroughs, currently completely online, completely virtual. And the Workforce One system was designed specifically to help New Yorkers prepare for and connect to jobs across the 5 boroughs in every sector. So we can help people identify jobs that are a good fit, prepare for interviews, access free trainings, and all of these services are no cost and don't require any in-person visits. So you have links up there on your screen. Take a screenshot. You'll also be getting this information as a follow-up. So please take advantage if you are at the point where you are even considering other options. We certainly hope that people, especially in this industry, stick with it, but we know it's a very difficult time and people are making rough choices. And so we invite you to explore and be creative in your thinking with us. And part of our Workforce One Career Centers very quickly is a new program called Career Discovery, which is another program that will help you access training to discover a new career at no cost. So people can learn about new careers, learn about the skills required for them, and possibly take some courses online to help them become more familiar with either online skills or skills specific to specific careers. So all the information is there. We are trying to make these things available to everyone citywide. It's really important at this particular time, and please take advantage and reach out. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Really valuable information. You know, as we're going into this winter, and it's always a time of hibernation, really, COVID or not, but given the pause and the slowdown of what we're experiencing, it is an interesting and good time to start to explore workforce opportunities, education, skill training, getting certifications, and really taking the time to educate and fill your time in really positive ways that are going to keep you engaged and productive and ready for when we inevitably come out. Jose, I don't know if you have another question for council. Otherwise, we can also move on to other questions. And we also have Shira Gans from the Mayor's Office of Music and Entertainment to share some information about Music Month. What would you prefer to do?
Yeah, the next question I think is for our colleagues at the Health Department and the Test and Trace crew. Are there any resources available for on-site rapid testing for folks who have very small crews? This is from Cheryl, and Cheryl is in events, and their freelancers have asked, but they're having a hard time finding any resources.
I can take this question. We've been working with BIDs, Business Improvement Districts, to get testing to local businesses. So you can feel free to email me or reach out to your BID, and I can try to help connect you. It's for free self-administered testing. We're working with all the BIDs in New York City.
It's possible that a lot of these people on the call may or may not have access to their local BID. A BID is a business improvement district office that is located in each neighborhood and has resources for this and many other things related to business in their districts. That's usually people that own businesses have access to that or are in touch with them. So in the event that you are not a business and you are not in touch with your BID, then perhaps if Lizbeth has her contact information, you can ask her as well directly, or you can always contact the Office of Nightlife and we can direct your questions to any one of these people and agencies. And I'll also add that people can also always call 311. It's the simplest way if you don't know what agency houses what information, and just call 311 and they will also direct you. Jose?
I think this question might be for Liz Vladeck. This is a question from Josh, who has been unemployed since March and applied for rent assistance, but was denied. Governor Cuomo just said he was going to revise the eligibility for rent assistance. Is there any additional info on this and what the new changes might look like?
So I'm looking on the screen. I'm hoping that my colleague from the mayor's office to protect is still on. Yeah, okay, great. This is to you, I think.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer it. Thank you. So hi, everyone. I wasn't on earlier. I'm Greta from the Mayor's Office to Protect Tenants. So yes, you're right. There is going to be another rent relief program rolling out. I don't have the details of it exactly yet, but as soon as we do get those details, they're going to be up both on our website, and our tenant helpline staff are going to be briefed on it, and we'll be able to help folks with it. So if, and it's my understanding also that this iteration of the program is going to help cover folks who were found not eligible before. I'm not sure yet exactly who will be eligible this time, but it's really important if you think you might be eligible to apply. Last time there was only a 2-week period to apply. So as soon as you hear about it, sorry about that, as soon as you hear about it, I want you to start taking steps to get your documents together and to get your application in. So you can actually reach our tenant helpline, which my colleague Juan had spoken about before, so that you can speak with a tenant specialist, so like housing coaches, and potentially with a legal services provider, so that you can get some more information about how to apply, about the program, if you're having difficulty with it, or if you know somebody who, you know, has difficulty doing those sorts of things, like, you know, just somebody who maybe isn't great with computers or with forms, et cetera, you can also send them over. Anybody can go to the helpline for assistance. And what you can do now is call the helpline and tell them that you're interested in applying for the new rent relief program, and then they'll take your information and you should get a call back when it's actually rolled out and you're ready to apply. They can also speak with you about other things that you can do to try to bolster your financial situation so you can stay safely housed. You know, like maybe you're eligible for benefits that you think you might not be, etc. So I recommend calling 311, saying tenant helpline to get connected. And also you can check the Mayor's Office to Protect Tenants website, because we will update it as soon as we have this information. So you'll go to nyc.gov/tenant protection and then click on the purple banner. And then at the top, or there will be drop-down menus, but at the top will be updated information about the rent relief program as soon as it's made available.
That's amazing information, Greta. Thank you so much.
Sure, you're welcome.
Jose?
We have a question from Roger. Roger's asking, how likely is it that we will have another full shutdown or lockdown? I see the mayor and the governor keep mentioning that this might be possible.
Well, I could try to take a stab at it in the most layman way possible to say that it's really hard, of course, to have a crystal ball in the way that this pandemic and the virus has been unfolding. The best way to really have any indication is to be able to follow the metrics and the data. I know that trying to ensure that the hospitalization rates and the surging of COVID cases are which are on the rise rapidly right now, are reversed. And we all remember the flattening the curve. Ultimately, the reason is to make sure that the hospitals are not getting overwhelmed and we're not having to pop up hospital tents in Central Park in the middle of the winter. I think obviously no one wants the city to have to pause again, but I know from what I've heard, like many of you, from the mayor and the governor, that it is on the table. And we have to prepare mentally, financially, physically, in any way that we can for that possibility, which is really what we're trying to do here today, is to communicate to everyone that the winter is going to be difficult. We are going to face just a couple of more months of more struggle and difficulty, but there is hope on the other side of this for many reasons. The best thing to do is to prepare to make sure that you have a mental health plan to keep yourself positive, and to know where you can turn when you're not feeling that way, to know what your resources are for rent and for unemployment, and also to know that our office and everyone on this call and the administration is here for you to turn to. And I really would hope that each of you will take this information, share it with other people. It will be recorded and we will be posting it so that you have it and you can share it with those who were not able to make it today. And I also, encourage you each to reach out and let us know what additional information you need for the next town call that we will inevitably be hosting. I want to, before we finish the call today and maybe leave room some time for people to ask one or two more questions, I'm going to introduce my colleague Shira Gans at the Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment, who is producing Music Month, which we know happens every year, but this year has been expanded to help entertain and educate and engage you all for the months ahead. So Shira, if you're available.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Ariel. It's nice to be here with everyone, see other colleagues in city government. So for those who don't know, every year, June is New York Music Month, and that's something that our office produces to really shine a spotlight on all the cultural and economic activity that the music industry brings to the city in June. Fortunately, in 2020, we didn't produce the month for obvious reasons. And now looking ahead to 2021, we thought it made sense to expand the month because, well, one time has no meaning anymore, I think, as we've all come to realize. And also it seemed a shame to wait to produce something till June when it seems like a time when folks could use some free resources and entertainment. So this year, this is a sneak peek. We're not announcing it actually till the beginning of January, but this year Music Month will be New York Music Month Extended Play. And that's going to be virtual events running from January through June. There'll be 3 different buckets of resources you can access online. There's going to be resources for musicians. So this will be free workshops that focus on honing your business skills and also musical skills. As an example, we're going to have folks from the Recording Academy, Grammy award-winning producers and engineers giving you master classes on things like recording remotely or how to improve your home studio. We'll have workshops on how to monetize your music and to increase your revenue streams, as well as things like how to book live shows, both when we come back together in person, but also in the virtual world. We're going to have things for New Yorkers who like music and who want some free resources. That'll be our Get Tuned In vertical of programming. Things like the art of podcasting. So maybe in this moment with so many different things unfolding and so many stories to tell, you've thought about how to share your own story or the stories of those around you. So it'll be an 8-part free workshop on how to create a podcast. And then we're going to have a vertical of New York Music Month talks. And so that's going to be a wide range of issues with experts in the industry talking about challenges and opportunities. And that'll range from things on new ways to make electronic music to looking at diversity and inclusion initiatives to how radio is handling things in the pandemic. So it'll be a wide range of topics. And one feature of the New York Music Month website that we've always had is a calendar. And we're going to have that feature as well. So if any of you are creating programming yourselves, if you own a venue and you're doing remote programming, or if we're able to reopen and you're going to be doing live streaming, you'll be able to post on that calendar for free. And so I'll work with the Office of Nightlife to distribute a form like we have in previous years that will allow you to upload information. It's just kind of a quick overview. And when we announce in January, there'll still be time to create new programs. So if there's a topic that you'd like to see covered that we haven't covered, you can give me a shout. Or if your organization wants to do something, you can reach out and we can see if there's a way to do that. Thanks, Ariel.
Thank you so much, Shira. Not if, but when we reopen, we will be ready. God knows New York and New Yorkers will be ready to do that. And we might as well take this time that things are slowing down, whether it be for the holidays or winter or COVID, to try to get as ready as we can for the inevitable New York City Renaissance that is coming. The Office of Nightlife will also be doing panels and possible programming. So again, to echo Shira, if anybody wants to hear some information or have suggested topics, we can work on that together with her and her office. Thank you so much. Jose, do we have any last minute questions in the last 5 minutes that we have?
It looks like we've covered most of the questions that we have, and it looks like our colleagues have been answering them in the Q&A section. So,
Okay, that's fine. So again, we're going to, first of all, thank everyone for being here. It's difficult but important information. I encourage everyone to just stay safe, stay strong, stay positive, stay healthy, and know that there is light at the end of this tunnel. We are going to get there, and we will be back. New York is here. We haven't gone anywhere, but we will be back even stronger and ready to, again, I think, have a beautiful New York Renaissance that we will all be ready for and deserve. To make sure that you know how to reach us and all of these people, I'm not sure if it's on a slide, but to connect with the Office of Nightlife, it's nyc.gov/nightlife. Our social handle is nyc.gov. And I recommend you all follow us and all of these agencies because the information is changing so quickly every single day. And it's just, let's just stay on top of it like it's our full-time job to make sure that we get through to the other side together. So thank you again all for joining this town call for hospitality and nightlife workers. It will be recorded and posted and able to be shared. Reach out to us if there's any other further information you need. And in the meantime, happy holidays, happy New Year. There's a lot to be grateful for still. And let's just make sure that we're celebrating in a different way, more intimately at home, virtually, ordering big feasts from our favorite restaurants, and just stay safe and positive. We'll keep this chat open for a minute so you can copy and paste. If you're in the chat, to make sure you copy and paste all of the links. I want to thank every single member and representative from the city, from Department of Health, Test and Trace, Thrive, NYC Care, Department of Consumer Worker Protection, and HRA, and the Office to Protect Tenants. And I want to also thank my staff at the Office of Nightlife who've been incredible on this call-in all year. And we wish you all the best, and we're here for you every step of the way. So thank you, and see you soon. Have a good day.